Hello. Okay, so there we go. All right, I'm in a kind of a funky spot. Hello, happy Sunday. I'm not sure if my connection will stay. Hopefully it will. And gosh, it's been a while. Expect the unexpected. Hi, Skull Vikings. I have to. I've been wanting to come on for a couple of weeks, but I've been so busy. But I've been having something on my heart, and today it just like played out perfectly. And so I'm going to share it. I pulled over. I've been driving, for about 3 hours now. And I'm almost back home, but I'm pulled over. I stopped. So anyway, expect the unexpected. So how are you guys how are we at navigating through life when unexpected things happen? We're going along. We wake up every morning. You kind of have your plan, right? Unless you're like, some people are more planners than others. But you have your goals that you maybe grab your coffee and you go to work. And if you blow a tire, that's something that's unexpected, right? You have your plan to get to work on time and traffic is longer than you expected. And, things happen. Maybe you get unexpected flowers at work from someone that loves you. That doesn't happen often. Does that happen often? How are you navigating through life when unexpected things happen? And I would like to talk about both sides, about the positives and the negatives. Well, today I will give you a story that played out for me. I went to church, or my plan was church today, and then go to visit my son. Now, a lot of you know that I have two sons. They're both older, and one of them is in prison my oldest is in prison for killing my abusive ex-husband. And so my ex-husband is now my late ex-husband. He has been since 2014. My son has been in prison in a few different locations, and he's at one location now up in, it's a couple hours away, okay? And anyway, I went to go visit him. I don't get to visit him that often. I've been very busy with work and had some job changes, and I was traveling in my other previous job, so I wasn't able to see him. And so I was finally able to go today, and that was my plan. I was going to go to church, and then I was going to go see my son, and I knew it was going to be a couple hours of a drive, and so I got on the road and got my coffee and got my, my rehab. What is that? Monster Rehab. Those are my new faves. Thanks a lot. By the way, P.S. Robert. Anyway, so I was on the road and listening to music and listening to speakers, and I get to where I'm going, and they tell me that I can't go in because of the dress that I'm wearing. And I'm wearing a very nice dress. I'm dressed up. I think I look nice. It's not sleazy. It's not anything bad. And I just stood there. I could feel a little bit of anger rising up. First of all, the cute little guard, there was two guards that were checking in a bunch of people, and you have to go through this little bit of a process when you go in, right? And I thought I knew the rules for what you can wear to go into the prisons to visit. And because I've been doing this for a few years now, and I was not allowed in, and there's no way around it, right? You can't just go, excuse me, but do you know who I am? And so I had to just stood there all within about 30 seconds or less probably, and I could feel the anger rising in me. And they both just said, well, you can go to the store and buy clothes and come back. And the girl that was sitting there was not very kind in how she said it. She was just right away kind of looked me up and down and just said, well, FYI, you can't go in with that dress on. And just kind of stood there and tried not to. Honestly, when I got out, I said a few expletives. I was not happy. Because I just drove 2 hours, right? And this was my plan. This is what I expected to do, right? And I was not allowed in, so I was mad. I was mad. So I got on the road and I started thinking about it immediately, and how I just decided not to go. I'm going to go a different day because it just doesn't, I'm not going to go to the dollar store and buy a new outfit, whatever. I mean, I had heels. I was a little ticked. So, and I just kind of went through the process and I thought, well, I don't have a lot of time to waste either. So, and I started thinking about it and how amazing this is, and how there are two verses that come to my mind immediately, two of my favorite verses. And I just thought, you know what, I wasn't supposed to visit him today for whatever reasons. There's things going on anyway. There's some backdrop to that about why haven't had time to go see him, and there's been some issues that have happened and whatever. So I was kind of nervous to go see him today anyway. It was going to be a tough visit, I knew. And anyway, so I just thought, you know what, I wasn't supposed to see him today. You know what? And because my steps are order of the Lord, I did what I was supposed to do, or not what I was supposed to do. That was my plan, but I have to be adaptable to whatever life brings, right? There are so many times where we go through life and we have our plan. We want to get married at a certain time. We want to, we want to have kids, or and things happen. Like you're in a relationship or you're in a marriage, maybe 20 years, and that person decides, I don't love you anymore, and they leave. Or things happen, or I've been through cancer twice. All the different things that have happened. I remember when I heard I had lymphoma, I can't even tell you the shock for that. I cried in the office while in between the testings. I remember being on the table for that testing. They couldn't figure out what was going on, and I had this protruding grapefruit bump that took within about 5 days, grew out of my chest, and there was no cancer history in my family. And now all of a sudden I'm facing this life-threatening thing. And I remember crying on the CAT scan table, because I was on there for 45 minutes. They were trying to figure out what's going on with this girl. And anyway, so and that was 2 weeks of testing, and then, oh my gosh, your whole life has changed, right? And you have to kind of go with it. And then when I had breast cancer, it was the same thing. But there were other things that happen in there, like there's a death, like if you lose someone dies, if your husband dies. And I know of close people that were there. The little 4-year-old died. And, your whole life can change. There's unexpected things that can happen. Now, I'm talking about the negative stuff right now, clearly. There are wonderful things that happen to us too. Like you meet the person of your dreams, right? And you walk into a store one day, and a friend of mine said, they met them, at the grocery store. And to me, or you meet them online, or you get a promotion that you weren't expecting, or you get a check in the mail you weren't expecting. There are life is full of unexpected circumstances and trauma and blessings. And so how are we especially with the negative stuff, how are we with navigating through that? But even with the positive, and even when we've experienced so much negative, we can have a tendency to start expecting the negative, the unexpected negative stuff, and we don't want to be there. The two verses I was going to mention was one in Proverbs. It's called "Roll your works on God, and He will cause His thoughts to become, or He will cause our thoughts to become agreeable to His will, and everything we do will prosper and succeed." So, according to that verse, if I am doing the best that I can, and I'm praying with Him, and I am seeking His face, and I'm trying to do what I believe to be right to do, for that moment, and for that day, and for that time and season in our lives. And then when unexpected things happen, good or bad, is trusting that, well, okay, then this was supposed to happen. What do I need to do next? How do I navigate through this problem? Rather than being super negative and immediately speaking death over the whole situation, is, all right, how do I do this? Being solution focused rather than problem focused, right? So if there's a mountain that rises up in your life, then how do I navigate through this? What's the way to get through this? What's the best way to get through this? And sometimes you need people around you to help you do that. You need to get advice. You need to get a shoulder to cry on. You need to get help in those situations. So don't be afraid to reach out. Expecting the unexpected and not being bitter and not turning negative towards it. My other favorite verse, and I know you guys have I think I've posted it a few times. I've said it a few times. It's a life verse, I believe. It's Ephesians 3:19-20. Is, now to him who by the power that is at work within us is able to carry out his purpose and do super abundantly, far over and above all that I dare to hope, imagine, ask, or dream. And that is a lot. I mean, when you think about it, that's the impossible. God says he can do the impossible, and that anything we ask in his name, he's able to do. So I would just like to encourage you today. Like now I'm going to get home, and I am bummed that I didn't get to see and hug my son. It's been a while since I've seen him, and I won't get into all that because I'll start crying. But how do we continue to stay positive and to stay fruitful and productive and love the people around us? And I want to encourage you too, that the more you expect good things, whatever you're believing for, whatever you're focusing on, if it's negative stuff, if you're expecting negative, if you're expecting that, whatever you focus on, whatever you magnify, you make bigger, you make more of. So if you are focusing on and expecting the worst, that's what you're going to get the more of. And whether I want to expect the good, and it can be very difficult when so many things come against you, or so many things bad can throw you in a whirlwind. Like, what just happened, and how did that happen? People, friends betray you. I mean, I've had friends leave my life recently that I thought would be there for a long time. And that was really sad. And there's also guys that have hurt me that I didn't expect. But you know what? It's okay. I am more than that. And, greater is he who is in us than he that is in the world. And, people make mistakes. People around you hurt you. They're not, just forgive and move on. My life is going to prosper. I'm rolling my works on God, and he is making he's making my thoughts agreeable to his will, and everything I do will prosper and succeed, because with him, all things are possible, and I'm with him. I may not be perfect, but I'm with him. And I plan on living out my days expecting the best, expecting good. And, more good is happening. The more you focus on the good, the more good happens. And please believe that. I want to encourage you today. I run into so many friends and people who are so depressed, and everybody's on antidepressants. Everybody's, not that that's bad. Everybody's living for the next drink. Everybody's living for the next person that, gosh, get off Facebook already with your bashing men and women. I mean, seriously, there's a lot of good, wonderful people out there. And if we're all looking for that person and that, life is amazing. There's amazing people out there, and you will attract who you are. Okay. If you're bummed out and bitching and complaining about stuff, and you don't like the people you're hanging around, gosh, I don't know. I know that I have amazing people in my life right now. They may not be 100 people, but they are very precious to me, and they are positive people, and they are faith people, and they believe the best, and they don't tear me down. They don't hurt me in those ways. And that's what we want more of. So anyway, I just wanted to encourage you. This was a perfect situation. I will say that, I think I'm proud of myself for not swearing right off the bat into her face when she said it to me. I would say I'm growing as a human. Yay. But okay, yes, I did let it out a little bit when I walked out the doors. But I want to encourage you guys. Life is amazing. There is good to be. Your life matters. Expect the good. Yes, unexpected things will happen. You can expect that. You can expect that unexpected will happen. But start expecting good unexpected. And when the stuff that is really tough gets thrown at you, get your eyes look up. Look up. If you've never trusted God before, if you've been pissed off at God, whatever, and I've thrown my finger up towards heaven a few times, and that's real. There's been a lot of crap. There's been a lot of stuff, and I've been curled up in a ball many times, and crying and all of that because of unexpected crap. But I'm still standing. I'm still here. And I believe I'm not a hard-hearted woman. I believe that I'm a productive woman in society. Again, I'm not perfect, but I don't hold that over me either. I don't expect that. You can't live in regret. You can't live in fear. Don't fear the unexpected. Trust that good is coming, and that what you want to expect is and dream about and what you hope for, it's okay to do that. It's okay to hope and get excited, okay? There's a lot of good life. If you're still breathing, if you're still awake, if you got up today, there's hope for you. There's a plan for you. There's amazing things in store for you. And we expect that good things are coming, and that the bad situations will turn around. And I tell you, I am living proof. And I mean, I'm still here. I mean, cancer tried 2 times, and they were not little pieces of cancer. They were mega. They were not fun. But I'm still here. And, living in an abusive marriage for 15 years and watching my son go through, both my sons really, and having him go through a 3-year trial process and watching them treat him terribly. He was in a county jail for a year and a half and saw daylight 3 times. I mean, it has not been a fun ride, and there's been some unexpected yuck, okay? But God is still on the throne, and I belong to him. And, nothing anybody says to me will change how I feel about that, because I've seen too much. I've seen him bless me. I'm still not where I want to be. There's huge challenges right now that are in front of me. And there are times when I just go, oh my gosh, but yet at the same point I go, you know what? What else can you do? You do the best that you can. I'm going to trust God's word is true. He promises it is, that it goes forth, and it will not return void. It will do what what it's sent out to do. So anyway, sorry, a lot of that today. Well, it's Sunday. But hey, now I get to go watch the Vikings. Super excited about that. Yeehaw. I didn't have to listen to it on my radio on the way home. But bless you guys. And expect the unexpected in a positive, exciting way. Life is amazing, and your life matters. Yeah. Thanks, you guys. And have a blessed Sunday.